Breaking news, Detective Michael Paint is under investigation on the death of Karene Benjamin. And stay tuned, we'll be right back.
They called it justice. He called it betrayal. Now, Michael Paint's fight to reclaim his badge has ended not in victory, but in silence. But silence in America has a sound, the kind that echoes through courtrooms, locker rooms, and the empty hallways of truth. Michael Paint was once the man everyone trusted when the truth went missing. He wore the badge like a vow, not of power, but of purpose. He believed in the system, thought it was built to protect the innocent and punish the guilty. But he forgot one thing. In a system built by men, justice answers to rank. When the Karene Benjamin case exploded into headlines, Michael wasn't just an investigator, he was the story's gatekeeper. Cameras flashed, microphones crowded his every step. The public wanted answers. The brass wanted control. And Michael, caught between truth and loyalty, made a choice that would burn everything he stood for. He told the truth, or at least his version of it. But the truth is dangerous when it doesn't fit the script. He remembered the night it all began. Snow is falling like ash over the streets of Canton, Massachusetts. Flashing lights cutting through the dark, a woman crying, a man dead, and a city about to eat itself alive. "Just do your job, Mike," his captain said. "Keep it clean. Keep it quiet." But the truth was never quiet. It screamed from the autopsy reports. It leaked from police group chats. It lingered in the whispers that said, "Something ain't right here." Soon, the story turned. Not against the accused, but against the investigator himself. Screenshots, messages, accusations, a storm of betrayal. They said he hid evidence. They said he played favorites. They said he forgot who he worked for. Maybe he did. Maybe he thought the badge was a shield, not a leash. The day they suspended him, Michael stood in the precinct lobby, surrounded by the ghosts of men who used to call him brother. No one looked him in the eye. The walls that once echoed his footsteps felt heavier now, like the building itself was turning away. He turned in his gun, his badge. The weight left his chest, but not his soul. Outside, the press swarmed, questions flying like bullets. Did you tamper with evidence? Were you protecting Karene Benjamin? Are you the real villain here, detective? He didn't answer. Because in America, once the headlines call you guilty, the courtroom is just a formality. Months passed. He filed for reinstatement, not out of pride, but because he couldn't let them rewrite his story. He wasn't the hero, he wasn't the villain. He was the man caught in between, where justice gets negotiated behind closed doors. The hearing room was small, no cameras this time, no applause, just cold walls and colder eyes. The department's lawyer read from a file as if reciting a eulogy. Detective Michael displayed conduct unbecoming. His actions undermined public trust. His reinstatement would be detrimental to the department. Michael wanted to laugh. Public trust? The same public they lied to for decades? The same trust they bartered away for promotions and politics? When it was his turn to speak, he didn't plead. He simply said, "I told the truth." You just didn't like where it led after the hearing. No one spoke to him. He walked out alone. The winter sun hit his face, sharp, blinding, almost holy. He thought of his years on the force, the families he'd comforted, the lies he'd swallowed, the times he'd told mothers justice would come even when he knew it wouldn't. Maybe that was the real betrayal. Not what they did to him, but what he became for them. Across town, the Karene Benjamin trial was still dragging through the mud. New evidence, old cover-ups. The public had turned it into a circus, each side screaming for justice that had long since lost its meaning. But Michael knew truth doesn't live in courtrooms anymore. It lives in headlines, in hashtags, in the stories people believe before they check the facts. He watched the coverage one night, sitting alone in a diner. The waitress poured his coffee without asking. She'd seen that look before. Men who gave too much to a system that gave nothing back. "You one of them?" she asked softly. He nodded. "Used to be." She smiled sadly. Ain't no use to be in that life. It stays on you, like soot. He looked at his reflection in the window, the faint outline of a man who once believed he could make the world better. Now he wasn't sure the world wanted that. At home, unopened letters from the department piled on his table. His lawyer said there was nothing more to do. They've made up their mind, Mike. They just haven't said it out loud yet. And he was right. Weeks later, the final notice came. Employment appeal denied apology. No explanation. Just a single sentence that ended 20 years of service. Michael read it twice, then a third time. He thought about tearing it up, but instead he pinned it to his wall. A reminder, not of defeat, but of clarity. He started writing, not a statement, not a defense, a confession, not of guilt, but of understanding. He wrote about the system, how it rewards silence, punishes conscience, and buries truth beneath layers of blue. He wrote about the nights he'd covered for fellow officers, the orders he'd followed even when they twisted his gut. He wrote about the moment he realized justice wasn't blind. She was just tired. When he finished, he didn't send it to the press. He sent it to his daughter. Because some truths aren't meant for the world. They're meant for the next generation, the ones who might still believe change is possible. Months later, Michael walked past the bridge his unit once guarded during protests. The graffiti was still there, words scrawled in black paint. Silence protects the system, not the people. He stopped and stared at it. For the first time in a long time, he smiled. Because maybe the system won, but the silence wasn't his anymore. They said Michael Paint's career ended because he crossed the line. But maybe the line needed crossing. Maybe justice isn't blind. Maybe she just keeps her eyes closed when the badge is involved. And maybe the real crime isn't what Michael did, but what everyone else refused to see. Because in the end, truth doesn't die. It just gets reassigned. Do you think the system is fair to Michael? Leave your comment below. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more insightful stories.